Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Taking a look at the Northern Illinois Huskies heading on the road to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And this is a program that Nebraska, it's been such a blast talking about. And obviously not this start to the Matt Rhule era that we all wanted. That being said, there are a few positive takeaways that I want to talk about that we've seen through the first two games. And then some things that I would like to see Nebraska clean up. And it's not going to be the obvious stuff. Obviously, turnovers, averaging 4 turnovers a game. That's not going to cut it. There's some other things that I kind of want to talk about as well. Now, before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the Nebraska fans. This has been a program I've had a blast talking about. Really optimistic on Matt Rhule and kind of getting this program turned around. The support from the Nebraska fans has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been so fun talking with you guys in the comment section. I'm actually going to be in Lincoln for the Michigan game coming up. So appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And let's get into this now. If you're a Nebraska fan listening, you just want to turn the page to Northern Illinois. We'll do that in a couple minutes. I do want to talk about what we saw from this Nebraska team against Colorado. And I want to start with one positive, right? And that is this defense is going to win Nebraska a lot of games in the Big Ten West this year. Matt Rhule, I have some question marks about Coach Satterfield, and we're going to get to those. That being said, this defense and Tony White, phenomenal hire. I mean, you saw Colorado. Colorado has a very, very dynamic offense, right? Shedeur Sanders looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. You have extremely talented wide receivers, Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, Xavier Wheeler, really dynamic running back, and Dylan Edwards. And Tony White in this Nebraska defense being put in bad spot after bad spot, especially in that first half, absolutely phenomenal. Tony White calls a masterful game. You have guys getting pressure. I believe they had almost 8 negative plays forced. I mean, this is a Nebraska team that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we've been pounding the table for, hey, we need to manufacture some more negative plays. This front seven, Tony White dialing up some pressures, knowing when to drop 8 and play coverage. Really, really good work. I mean, Cam Lenhart, as a true freshman, looks like he's a dude. Ty Robinson, Nash Hutchmaker, really getting it going. Linebacker play, really good. But most importantly, those guys from the secondary, when you play the 3-3-5, you need to have your guys in the secondary be able to fire up and come in and run support. I mean, there's not a better secondary in tackling than Nebraska right now. This is a really good defense that, again, it won't necessarily show up on the paper because of that second half just getting away from the offense and the way it did. This Nebraska defense is really, really stout. One of the better groups in the Big Ten. Now, on the offensive side of the football, my question mark here is Coach Satterfield coming over from South Carolina. A lot of the question marks about him, a lot of the criticism about Coach Satterfield at South Carolina was the playbook was too complicated. Like the guys were not just being put in spots where they can be successful, too much thinking. And I feel like you're seeing a little bit of that, all the pre-snap motions, all the pre-snap penalties that you're seeing. Now, obviously, Nebraska needs to clean that up, but I wonder if Coach Satterfield, again, when you saw him at South Carolina, they dumbed down the playbook. Not dumbed down, it's probably a bad word, but they simplified the playbook the last 2 games at South Carolina. What happens? They go beat Tennessee and then go on the road to beat Clemson. And Spencer Rattler looks phenomenal. But what happened was they simplified the playbook. They let the players play a little bit. And I feel like you might be seeing a little bit of that for Nebraska, where you got all these pre-snap motions. And obviously, it's inexcusable to snap the football off a guy coming in motion. It's inexcusable to drop the snaps that you saw. It's inexcusable to throw the picks. That being said, it seems like this Nebraska offense, and Matt Rhule even said it in his presser, like, we're trying to win too much, right? And I feel like they're pressing. I feel like this offense is a little bit complicated, not putting the players in the spots where they need to be successful. I think Jeff Sims kind of clearly shows that in terms of just there's a lot going on. He seems overwhelmed back there. If they can simplify this playbook, find what works for them. Again, you have 2 quarterbacks, and it sounds like Henrik is going to be playing quarterback this week. Phenomenal athlete. Get him on the run. Get him outside the pocket. Let him use his athleticism. The best thing you can do as a coordinator is put your guys, look at these guys, say, hey, my skill sets are this. I'm going to use those skill sets. And as an offensive coordinator, that's your responsibility. Get those players in situations where they can be successful. I'm kind of looking for that. And then we're going to talk about some young guys stepping up. Now, I want to fast forward now to Northern Illinois night game. You know it's going to be. I mean, I've been to Memorial Stadium. It's the best college football environment that I've been to. I've been to the Big House. I've been to Columbus. I've been to Happy Valley. No one does it like Nebraska. This place is going to be bumping. It's a chance for this Nebraska team to kind of get some confidence, kind of enjoy playing football again against a Northern Illinois team that is really confusing. Now, I kind of took a little deep dive into this Northern Illinois team. They go on the road and beat Boston College. Rocky Lombardi, some of you guys remember, Michigan State former quarterback, looks solid. And then they lose to Southern Illinois, and Rocky Lombardi throws 3 picks. This is a game that Nebraska should win by multiple scores. And for me, I'm not going to give betting lines right now. Nebraska's sitting at an 11-point favorite. This is a team that Nebraska should beat by 3 touchdowns. And I think it's an opportunity for Nebraska to get some confidence. That is the number one thing this team needs, is just some things to go their way to win a football game and get some confidence, because the talent is there. They just need to play up to their talent. That's the kind of the storyline for this Nebraska team. Now, some of the things I want to see, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Again, I want to see the run game get going, and I want to see them marry the run game more towards the passing game. So if you can establish the run, then go work play action, maybe take some deep shots. That was something Matt Rhule, listened to the presser this morning, said, yeah, we maybe need to be a little bit more aggressive, pushing the football down the field. Now, I think one of the problems is at the wide receiver position, they're just not very deep. And quite frankly, and this is no disrespect to the guys in the room, it's not the most talented group in the country, right? I love Billy Kemp. I love what he can do in kind of that short intermediate route tree. I really do like Marcus Washington, who is battling back from a multitude of injuries that he had in fall camp. Alex Bullock, about as solid as they come. I'm going to say it right now. I would like to see some of the young guys play. Matt Rhule said this, what's the most dangerous team? A team that has nothing to lose. This Nebraska team, it's not like they have nothing to lose, but I mean, you're 0-2. Not really much has worked on the offensive side of the ball. You have Malachi Coleman, probably the most talented player on this football team right now, has barely seen the field. Maybe go see what he can do, right? And make it simple for him. You're going to go play action. Let him go use that long speed and hit an explosive play. Give him an end around. Let him touch the football. Let him kind of have an impact on this game, because, again, this wide receiver room kind of lacking that playmaking ability. I think Malachi Coleman, again, I don't need him to play every single snap, but let him try to have an impact on this football game. Up front, running the foot, I still need this team, I think, on the offensive line to continue to get better. I thought it was good at times against Colorado. But again, if you're a Nebraska team, especially a Matt Rhule type teams, Coach Satterfield offense, you got to be physical. You got to be able to establish the run. And if you can establish the run, the passing lanes will come. It'll be the best friend for a quarterback is a really strong run game. And so whether it's Jeff Sims, whether it's Henrik, establish that run, make that game a little bit easier for a quarterback that, again, just lacking some confidence. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, I want to see some turnovers. You've seen everything from this Nebraska team besides turnovers. Rocky Lombardi threw 3 interceptions to Southern Illinois. This Nebraska defense, much more talented, a much more dynamic scheme. Tony White just doing there's not many flaws in this Nebraska defense right now that I've seen. I watched that Colorado game back. I've watched the Minnesota game back. I think they've been really solid. I want to see the pass rush get home. I want to see you throw that quarterback off the spot. And then finally in the back end, let's go get some hands on some footballs. Let's go create some explosive plays on the defensive side of the ball. Nebraska on defense has done everything but maybe force some key turnovers. And again, key turnovers, that's how you win football games. And so overall, Northern Illinois heading to Nebraska. It's a night game. I know Brandon Baker, 5-star offensive tackle from Mater Dei. He's going to be in attendance, I believe. This is an opportunity for this Nebraska team to kind of get some confidence. And that's what they need. And I don't even want it to be a close game. If I'm a Nebraska fan, I want this to be a dominant performance where it looks clean. You're going to have an opportunity to execute on defense, but more importantly, execute on offense. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see the football hit the ground. I don't want to see pre-snap penalties. I want to see these teams march down the field, execute their offense, and get some confidence. And get some confidence in the execution of the offense, because that's, quite frankly, what's been lacking. They've had some explosive plays, right? Jeff Sims, 57-yard touch. They can have some explosive plays, but it's really hard to run an offense when the execution is just not there. Pre-snap penalties, fumbling snaps, bad reads. And I think that's what they're struggling with. Again, the wide receivers are young, and Matt Rhule even said, they don't know quite the playbook yet to be playing significantly. You're kind of relying on Alex Bullock, Billy Kemp, and Marcus Washington, because the rest of the guys who are young just aren't quite ready. Execution, some explosive plays. I want Nebraska to kind of comfortably win this game. Then you have Louisiana Tech at home. Nebraska in 2 weeks should be 2-2, with Michigan Michigan going to Lincoln. I'm going to be there, so I should know where that game is. And again, an opportunity to get this team a little bit more confidence. Those are some of my thoughts on this game. Some of my thoughts from that Colorado game. Again, Nebraska fans, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Can't thank you enough for all the support. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to you all later.